I'm Dr. Allan Perel, and this is Conversations in Medicine. I'm Dr. Allan Perel, and this is Conversations in Medicine, a program dedicated to bringing cutting-edge medical topics to the Staten Island and tri-state community. We have a very special show here tonight. We're going to talk about Chanukah, the Jewish holiday of lights. Chanukah is coming up in the very near future, and we have a wonderful panel to talk about Chanukah and what it means to us. And Chanukah, all of medicine is interesting, because we think about medicine as technology, as medicines, as treatments, therapies. But sometimes therapies comes from the soul, comes from within. Many times that happens. And what with holidays like Hanukkah, we bring faith, love, family together. And I think Hanukkah really portrays so much about Judaism, all religions. And what we're all going to do is celebrate Chanukah for all. So I have some wonderful guests here tonight. And first I'm going to introduce Dov Ber Avery. Welcome. And Rabbi Yochanan Ivri, who's the spiritual leader of Congregation Torah Emes on Staten Island, and Gary Gunin, who's here with us also from Congregation Shore Parkway, Congregation Torah Emes, and a very special guest, Orlando Yeshayahu Sanchez. And Shai is a good friend of ours and a Grammy-nominated musician. So we're very, very lucky to have you here. So it's a pleasure. Thank you all. So I'm going to start with the rabbi. What does Hanukkah mean, and what does the word Hanukkah mean, and what does it mean to all of us in the community? And as I said, there are a lot of people here, both of the Jewish faith and not. What does Hanukkah mean to them?
Thank you. So Hanukkah actually means education or rededication. It's the story that took place 2,200 years ago in Jerusalem, when the temple, the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, was rededicated by the small group called the Maccabees. And it's also education because it's all about being able to transmit that message of light and hope and courage to the next generation. Your introduction, this is a show about medicine, and studies have been made about the importance of hope and prayer in those who are seeking healing. And the one holiday we could say that gives us that hope and that healing is the holiday of Hanukkah.
That's beautiful, beautiful. And as you talk about medicine with regard to spirituality, so is music with regard to spirituality. So we're going to start off with a musical number, a little niggun, a little tune that we're going to have Shia to stand up and do us a little bit.
How is the name for that piece?
What is the name of the song?
Ma'osur.
Ma'osur. So this is a little song that we sing when we like him. That was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So now, Rabbi Ivri, tell us a little bit. We talked about the word Hanukkah. We talked about, show us what's on the table. So a lot of these are symbolisms of Hanukkah.
Very nice. Of course, we have the centerpiece is the menorah. The menorah is the candelabra that was in the temple, And although it was certainly a great victory in terms of the military abilities of the Maccabees, that were able to regain the temple against the ancient Syrian Greeks, but we celebrate with light. We celebrate with the candelabra, the light. And historically, it was lit. The menorah was lit with olive oil here.
Why olive oil?
So, olive is one of the 7 fruits that Israel is blessed with, and oil represents knowledge. It's the one liquid that always floats, to the top. It always is able to make itself all the way to the top. It floats on. It always sort of has that natural ability, which represents knowledge. As mentioned about education, one of the important things about the holiday, and perhaps we could say universally about all holidays, is about education, about being able to understand more about each other and about humanity, and therefore have that tolerance and that ability to understand from one each other.
I'm actually going to interrupt you for a second, because I have Dov Bear here who's telling me that he'd like to talk to us. Dov Bear, tell me a little bit about what does Hanukkah mean to you?
Hanukkah is a cloth. Hanukkah before, and it's my house, and me and Papa perfume, and now it's so nice to get a collection is giving him and me, Papa.
Beautiful holiday with all the family together.
And Shaya, they could come in.
So just a little translation there. Hanukkah happens to be the favorite holiday of Dober. In fact, his birthday is in the same month as Hanukkah. It's coming up this Saturday, his 12th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Which means what? A year to his bar mitzvah.
Right.
In fact, we just had a recent birth. We had Shana Rachel, we had our daughter who was just born
Mazel tov,
a few
congratulations.
weeks ago. Shana Rachel has the same acronym as Shar, which means song, sing. So it's really a season of holiday, of celebration, of song and joy, and Dober is all about that. Dober has been a tremendous joy in our lives. He always loves music and loves dancing, and we can't dance right here, but nonetheless, this is a holiday that's very special to him. Whenever Hanukkah is in the year, you could be sure that he's always smiling and ready to celebrate.
Gary, tell me a little bit. Tell me about your family, and tell me how you celebrate. What does Hanukkah mean to you?
It spreads joy through myself and my family. My cousins, uncle, and aunt, they come over to my house, and me and my cousins, we play with dreidels, we eat the latkes, and we have joy because, Hanukkah is a holiday that lasts for a long time, and it spreads more and more to friends and family across the way, so you can have fun and spread joy to others at the same time.
That's beautiful. And Shaya, tell me about Hanukkah to you. What do you think about Hanukkah?
So for me, it's just a new experience because I converted for 2 years ago, and always it's a new experience, and beautiful to know about the history, about the root, about all the things we learn always with the rabbi and the community. So it's special to be close to everybody.
And it is a beautiful, beautiful community out here that we have. So Rabbi, back to what we were talking about. Let's mention everything that's on the table.
So again, getting back to the menorah. So the beautiful thing about this holiday is about lights. We have Christmas coming up. We have Kwanzaa. All these holidays surround light, and really the message is that with a little light we could dispel a lot of darkness. Mm-hmm. In this world, in this day and age, unfortunately, we see a lot of division, discord, and misunderstandings, and so on. And I think this is an opportunity to bring light. They say that the greatest antidote to hatred is education. When we bring that light of education and purpose, then we bring so much more harmony and peace. And the menorah really represents that. We light the menorah the first night, which this year is December 2nd, Sunday, December 2nd at nightfall. We begin with the right side, And we recite the blessing, Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivan lahadlik ner Chanukah. And we also add the blessing of Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim la'avoseinu bayamim hahem bizman hazeh, which is the blessing for the miracle. And then Shechianu, which is the blessing for the opportunity of being able to celebrate the holiday once again this year. And that's the first night. We start on the right side. We have the shamish. This is called the helper, the one that lights the other candles, always on top. The one who gives to others, the one who lights others is always above. The one who helps others always remains on top. And we add each night, the second night, so Sunday night would be the first candle, Monday night would be the second candle. We increase in light. The message is that whatever good we do today, we have to try to do a little better tomorrow. Each night, each day, we try to do a little better. And that's the message of Chanukah, that we increase in light each and every night, each and every day, and throughout the year, bringing light. And we specifically light it when it gets dark to show that even in challenging times, even in dark times, we do a good deed. It dispels a lot of darkness.
Gary, do you know why we have 8 candles?
Yes, it is because the Jews were trapped for the amount of days that we celebrate for.
It was actually the oil that lasted.
The oil is what lasted
for 8 days.
for 8 days, which helped us.
That was the miracle, that they found
yeah.
oil that should have lasted for one day,
yeah.
but it lasted for 8 days,
Yeah,
and that's why we have that's why we have 8 candles.
And
Yeah,
you're very good.
Yeah, the God up there, He helped us, and He made the miracle happen because a lot of people didn't think that it would last for that long, and it really helped them. And now that it's done in the past, that's what we learn off from today.
And that's the faith that you
The faith and the trust. Even though the oil they had only was enough for one day, and they said, what's the point if it's not going to last more than one day? Why even try lighting it? And they said, no, we have to do our part. We have to do what we can, and then God does the rest. And God made that miracle that lasted for 7 extra days. Now the oil is a very central theme of the holiday. We have, for example, here you see the donuts, the delicious jelly donuts, which originally came from Israel, actually, tradition of having jelly donuts. You guys probably heard of the word latkes. Latkes is the potato pancakes, right? We're going to get to the dreidel soon. Potato pancakes also fried in oil to remind us of the miracle of the oil. And Dov Bear mentioned about the dreidel. The dreidels are the very fun, very beautiful tradition of playing with this little top that we spin, and there are 4 different letters which represent
So everybody
different
gets a
words.
dreidel because we have to do. Rabbi had to.
We all have to play a little dreidel
more.
there.
That's to spin
We
a
all
little
have to
bit
play a
more.
little dreidel.
So we all spin.
And the goal of the right, you have to get how much? What letter you have to get?
Hey,
The hay. Okay, but we have to get the gimel. The gimel is when you play dreidel, each one puts in a quarter or a penny, and basically when you fall on the gimel, you win everything.
It's a game.
It's a game. It's a game. And the reason the origin of the game is very interesting. When today in school, we think about trying to find time to play and not focus so much on the learning. In fact, during the Hanukkah season, historically during the Hanukkah time, it was the children that actually came up with this plan when they wanted to study, which was forbidden at that time to study, and they came up with a game to pretend as if they're not studying when really they were studying, and they were, secretly studying, and they took out the tops and started playing as if they're not studying. So this was only a sort of a ruse to trick at the time the ancient Syrian Greeks who were enforcing this law of not learning, not studying. Again, no education was forbidden. So here we have a game which actually promotes the whole idea of studying and learning and education. And it's a fun game. The 4 letters stand for Nes Gadol Hayasham, which means a great miracle happened there.
So those letters in Hebrew represent words in Hebrew.
That each represents a different word. And in Israel, instead of the shin, which means there, we have the letter pei, which stands for here. That the miracle happened here, meaning in Israel, in Jerusalem, some 2,200 years ago.
How beautiful. So tell us a little bit, do different different groups in Judaism celebrate Hanukkah differently?
It's pretty universal, and I'm sure many of your guests who are even non-Jewish, they have gone to Hanukkah parties, delicious foods, latkes, the dreidel games, the gifts. Now, although originally the main objective was to give what we call Chanukah Geld, which is money. And the reason why we give the Chanukah Geld, and today, there's the chocolate Chanukah Geld that people share with each other, is because, again, we want to reward the children. It all comes down to the children. Children who literally are our future, and who we want to educate, we want to encourage their study and their education. So we give them Chanukah Geld, Chanukah, money, and some have the tradition to give each night of Chanukah. Garrett mentioned on the way here about the gifts that he would receive.
Yeah, until I was in the 4th grade, I was in love with this game called it was a series, so it was called Skylanders. My parents pointed out to me that it was a waste of money and time, but I still went on and made it my way because I didn't know back then. But when I stopped playing the game, I realized they were right. And in the 4th grade, when I received my iPhone 6S, and I asked them the second night of Hanukkah, why am I only getting one present? Like, no offense, but it's 8 days, 8 presents. And then my parents were like, would you rather receive one, good enough present that you would last a long time and remember, or 8 little things that barely mean anything to you? And from that on point, I realized what the gift giving procedure was. And it's different for all families because people do it one way, people do it another.
Right, our tradition was always to, even if it was a penny or two, something very small in the beginning, and then
Right.
towards the end we got bigger presents. But people always ask me, how many? 8 presents, a lot of things to do, but we try to get the most out of it. Shia, tell me, any interesting presents you've gotten for Hanukkah from your lovely wife Esther?
Future is always better.
You're right.
Very nice. But Hanukkah is also about publicizing this great miracle. In fact, your guests may see menorahs in the windows primarily, because we want to show that the miracle is it's a public event. We want to really spread the word and spread the light towards the outdoors. The menorah is actually situated by the window, or some have a tradition to do it by the doorway, to show that the light extends outwards. In the temple, the windows were actually narrow inside and wide towards the outside, which meant that the light was to perpetuate, to brighten the outside. That's the goal of the menorah, to bring light to the outside. And you have public menorah lightings. Now it's very common.
I know we have them in Borough Hall.
Borough
We see
Hall
them in some
and-
huge menorahs.
and supermarkets and so on. So you see how that light is brought to to the public. And again, it's a message of hope, of light. That one little candle could dispel many. We can't get rid of darkness with a large broom. It won't work, or a big vacuum. The only way to do it is by bringing a little light. That small light can transform even the greatest darkness. And I just to give you a little story of there was a rabbi once who asked one of his visitors, "Do you know what my job is?" He says, "Your job is to lead your congregants." He says, "Let me give you an analogy. You go into a cupboard, you see a candle. There's a candle that has the 2 components, the wax and the wick. He said, you see, we all are a candle. We all have the body and we all have the wick. He says, now you know what my job is?" So the congregant says, "Yeah, your job is to light the candle." He says, "That's the soul." He says, "No, my job is to give you the match. We have to all light our own candle. We all have that job to ignite our own candle." And the way we do it so is by doing good deeds, by saying a good morning or good evening to someone, or helping someone in need. Any good deed. Maimonides has the famous quote, famous physician, philosopher, codifier of Jewish law, astronomer. He writes that every single individual should look at the entire world as if on a cosmic scale, that there are good deeds and there are misdeeds or demerits, and it's equally balanced. If every individual does one good deed, no matter how insignificant it may seem, or even one good word that we share, or even a good thought, has a tremendous impact to bring salvation to the entire world. And that's really the message of Hanukkah. We light one candle. even that one candle could really bring so much blessing.
And you said that
and light.
even means good morning. Good
what's
morning.
that?
It even means good morning.
Even if it's
have
a good
good
morning,
day.
a smile on one's face.
So Dov Bear told me that he'd like us to sing another song.
We're going to sing another
So
song,
Let's sing a little song and
and maybe
and
Yishai
Cheryl
will
just
help us
try
out
to-
with the saxophone.
and who's in good voice. So whatever song.
Oh
you-
Chanukah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. A dreidel to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night, they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night, they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. Oy Chanukah, ayom tevashene, alistike afreilich enita nachazeh, alle nach midreidlich spilin mir. Hey says is a latkes esmin on asher, schwinger, me zogt ala nisim, denkt dort farde nisim, get the ganze Jahr, me zogt ala nisim, denkt dort farde nisim. You know, I remember reading.
That's in Yiddish, so
That's
everybody who's
beautiful.
listening.
That's in Yiddish also,
Yiddish
yes.
Beth, who you just were talking about.
We have, you know, I remember reading the diary of Anne Frank, and you may have read that. Just a moving a book of literature, and you see how they celebrated Hanukkah even during Nazi occupation, and you know, being very limited to their space. They somehow found that hope and that ability to celebrate. That even lighting a menorah in a very confined space brought that hope of light, and that's really the message of Hanukkah: is that we're able to bring so much hope and light and goodness into this world. And it's every single person's ability to do that.
So tell us a bit about the happiness of Hanukkah. So many of our holidays, many of the Jewish people's holidays are thought to be very somber, where there's a lot of soul searching. Hanukkah, not that it's different than those holidays, but the festivities, the amount of happiness and joy is unequaled in almost any holiday that the Jewish people have.
That's right.
So
It's a holiday is based on praise and Thanksgiving. You know, we're about to celebrate Thanksgiving, right? And that's a universal holiday.
So tell us about that. Patience in mind, people in our community say, do Jewish people celebrate Thanksgiving?
Of course. You know, Thanksgiving is something that we really should be celebrating every day. You know, the first prayer in Jewish liturgy is what? Modeh ani.
But we have Thanksgiving every Shabbos.
Every
Shabbos?
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday, that's true. But also every morning we wake up, as soon as we open our eyes, we say thank you, you know, for giving us another day. And that's really what it's about. It's you know, idea of being grateful. And Hanukkah is about having that gratitude, expressing that gratitude. Right? We sing the famous Hanera Talalu and Allan Nisim, all these different prayers that we sing. And
so let's translate. So we talk about we sing about the candles because we love them. We think about all the miracles that occurred.
All the miracles. You know, it wasn't only it was a physical victory that the Maccabees, the military victory that they were able to retake their temple material through their military efforts, but also spiritually. You know, the identity, the spiritual identity of Judaism was being almost taken away and vanished, and so it was also a spiritual victory. It was a victory that they were able to continue their traditions, which at the time was being challenged. You know, what's the importance of celebrating the Sabbath, or keeping kosher dietary laws, or even circumcision for that matter? And the king at the time, Antiochus, was the one who at first tried to convince them to give up, you know, ancient laws, and the Israelites felt that no, this is something. The Maccabees felt that no, this is something that they have to hold on to. This is our tradition, and this is what gives us faith. The famous story with Rabbi Akiva, the famous sage, who was asked, why do you risk your life for studying? Right, the song Rabbi Akiva, Zekla Gadol Torah. And the Roman officer said, "You're risking your life for your tradition, for your laws, So he gave him the analogy of the fish swimming in the stream. And he said that, there was a sly fox that said, come out of the water. I'll help you from the fishermen. I'll save you from the fishermen down the stream. And the fish said, here we have a chance of survival. Once we leave the water, we have no chance. So faith is so integral. There's a Yiddish expression, as me verliert Geld. If you lose money, it's nicht gefährlich. It's not the end of the world. As me verliert the gesund is mehr wichtig. It's more important. But as me verliert the might, we lose faith that we lose everything. So faith is really what gives us purpose and the ability to continue on. Yes.
Yeah. But Shia, tell us, you were brought up in Cuba, and tell us what Hanukkah means to you a little bit, and Hanukkah and Thanksgiving time.
I can tell you something. I've been around the world, always searching the way to be in shul, to be in to
Part
be
of the
part
Jewish-
of the
Jewish
the
community.
Jewish people, but it was not possible. When I came here, I knew the right person, and I met or Rabbi Ivry, and everything, all kind of doors that they be open. Then I learned, then I been in, and now I am enjoy.
And that's faith, and that's a beautiful, beautiful
The
story.
purpose.
So, Rabbi, we only have a couple of minutes left, and I'm going to go around with the room and basically say, what are you looking forward to most? And Dovbe, you'll start with me.
What's
Sit
the
back,
most important thing
and
about
you tell me,
Hanukkah that you like?
What are you looking forward to most in Hanukkah? Is it the presents? Is it seeing the whole
menorah.
family? Tell me what the most important thing is to you.
What's the most exciting thing? Hanukkah party, of
The party,
course.
the party.
Of course.
And that's
Playing dreidel,
If
right? Playing with your brothers and sisters.
and myself, and welcome, and feel like how
Beautiful.
and before I saw
The music he loves. He's going to love the music.
and the dancing. And for me, it's the family. It's everyone being together. And it's such a nice, nice holiday. And it comes in a very cold time of year, the short days that we have. And it really brings light into
And
our home.
warmth, I would say.
And
also.
Gary, tell us, what are you looking forward to most to Hanukkah coming up?
I'm looking to keep the same tradition I've had over the years again, because it's with family, and that's what matters most. And also for everybody to be a part of what they can do, not just in my family, but everybody else's.
Oh, that's beautiful. And Rabbi, you give sermons every week. You talk to large groups of people and influence so many people. And even in your work in hospice, tell us a little bit about inspirational, just for over the next minute, what's going on with regard to Hanukkah and how we should all prepare for it.
So we should all try to celebrate in some measure, those who are Jewish or even non-Jewish, if you could get a menorah and bring some light into the world. And menorah could also mean bringing the light of goodness and kindness to others. And never be satisfied with one. Try to do a little more the next day, and the next day even more than that. And bring as much light as we can into this world, and of course with joy, because that's ultimately what we're here to bring joy and goodness into this world.
Oh, what beautiful thoughts for everyone. I want to wish everyone a happy holiday season. We're coming up to all the holidays for all the faiths right now. Hanukkah is a very special holiday for the Jewish people. We have multiple holidays around this time. And we are so excited to be here, and thank you all for coming. And all the women who are just making latkes and donuts at home right now, that's why they all couldn't come here tonight. But we all celebrate with our entire family.
Thank you.
Thank you, and have happy Hanukkah to everyone.
Thank you very much.
Happy Hanukkah.